So I watched Shazam. I liked it. Thought it was a fun film. I liked the visuals. I liked the look of the superpowers that Shazam had, and whoever did the visual effects, it was a really great job. Because I just liked how it came off. It didn't look phony. It didn't look hokey. It didn't look, cheap. You know, and Zachary Levi did a good job. I think when he was trying to act like a 15-year-old kid, because in reality he is, he just has the form of an adult when he becomes Shazam. I think sometimes he would tend to do a little bit too much and kind of be over the top when he's trying to be a 15-year-old, trying to act like how a 15-year-old would act. And it came off like he was being immature, um, very irresponsible superhero. Like he has these powers and he's doing these things that a superhero normally wouldn't do. But there's no knock on Zachary Levi's performance. I watched a little bit, maybe even a season of Chuck, the show that he was on, and he was good. I liked the show. Um, just got into other things. That's why I didn't watch really the entire series. But did a good job. I liked the kids that were in here, and they played girl named Darla, Pedro, Eugene, Freddie, and Mary. Those were like foster kids, and he was actually a foster kid, Billy Batson, who went from home to home and ran away all the time. And he was hoping that this would probably be the family for him, even though he was looking for his mother. And it finds out later on that the mom didn't really want to have anything to do with him because of her issues, and she decided, he's just gonna, he got separated at a carnival, and when she saw him with the cops who were sitting with him and staying with him, she figured they would find him a better home, and she just walked away. And that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. It's just like you're not even going to just get your kid and then maybe you take him to a relative that may take care of them, or take him to a wake up. She said she was only 17. And I'm just thinking, you're just going to let your son just be with them. And I get what she was talking about, because she was 17. Her husband, the man who made her pregnant, and had a son, got husband, walked away from her and all that stuff. But so all this time he was trying to find his mom. Even though he was given the opportunity to find her, didn't work out. Didn't work out for Billy, and he ends up just realizing that that's his family. The family that he's with now. It's funny because the final fight scene kind of reminded me of Superman 2, where they were colliding and clashing in the air and throwing each other around, and had that look. It had kind of like an old school look to it. The way the fight scenes were filmed. And like I said, visually, I liked the film. I liked the dialogue, a lot of humor, a lot of lightheartedness, which is what DC needs. You saw that in Aquaman. You saw that in Wonder Woman. That's what it needed. And that's a complaint a lot of people had about Justice League and Batman vs Superman. It's too dark, not enough humor. And it doesn't feel like they forced that too much. Like, oh, we got to make up for those films. Let's make these films a little bit more funnier, a little bit more humor. Not too much, just enough, to kind of please people and at least get a chuckle out of people. But I have no complaints about this film. It was really just a fun film to watch. I liked, like I said, Zachary Levi's performance. Even the kids who played their roles, and they did well. They weren't even annoying. That's the one thing. They had their role and they did it really well. I liked the little girl, Darla. She was cute, and she was so, precocious and very, just, I just love it when she smiled too, and she wanted so much for Billy, to feel at home, and she's like giving him hugs already, and he just arrived at their home, what I mean? And I like that. I like that. 'Cause I like the dynamic with the kids and what the actors had with each other, and they actually played off each other pretty good, you know. But overall, this film, like I said, it was a fun film. It was a film that kind of definitely makes up for the past mistakes, I guess you could say, missteps. Not maybe not mistakes, but missteps on DC's part. gotta make films like this more often. You gotta just be all out fun, you know. And I'm not saying there's can't be no seriousness in there, but it'd be nice for it to be like this, very colorful, you know, very vibrant, you know. It's like keeps you interested instead of like, you know, making you feel like, you know, God, this thing is so dark. Oh God, this thing's too serious, you know. Because even like the horror superhero movies of, you know, back in the day, even like Batman, the original Batman, yeah, it was in a dark city, Gotham City, but you still have some little bit of humor in there, and it was still entertaining. You know, it wasn't so brooding, and it wasn't so, you know, just oh my God, like you want to like, you know, you want to go to sleep. But but like I said, I like this movie, and it was a lot of fun. Now let's talk about the end sequence. You know, well, it was toward the end of the film, and actually the last minute two of the film, and Freddy was able to get Billy as Shazam to sit with him at the lunch table. And he had promises before, and for some reason, because he was so into his own world, that Billy as Shazam didn't show up. And the bullies were saying they're gonna beat him up if he doesn't show up. And then here, he sits down, Freddy, with these other kids, and these kids just walk out of the way because, you know, he's considered like a nerd, he's considered like an outcast. And then in comes his brothers and sisters sitting with him. And then Shazam shows up. And he's talking about how, oh, this is my buddy, man. Like, he's the one that taught me everything I know. And then he goes, oh, well, there's someone else. I hope you don't mind, but I invited someone else. And all of a sudden you see this very, very familiar blue and red suited person. And you see the S, right? Like my S. So it's the S, and then you know, you see Freddy go, oh, you're like, oh my God, and then fade to black. And then credits roll. And then you see Thaddeus Savannah, the doctor, in jail, and he's scribbling these messages on, you know, the symbols, you know, on the prison wall, you know, his jail cell. You know, and he's saying things like, you know, son of Ra, and Solomon's Knot. Son of Ra, is that like, you know, Raj Al Ghul? Is that, you know, I'm not very familiar with the comics. I used to read them way back in the day, but I stopped almost immediately, almost as fast as when I started reading. Because, you know, but all of a sudden you see a laugh because he breaks his pencil, you know, and then he's like, and he's getting mad and stuff like that because he's on a roll, you know, he's writing all those symbols. Then you hear like a laugh, and it's a talking, I guess, a caterpillar. I mean, I'm sure you guys know who that is. There's a talking caterpillar. It looked like it had a tape recorder or some kind of a mechanical, some kind of a device in its belly, you know. And it's this, you know. And then he pretty much says that he's talking to the doctor, and he says that he proclaims that the seven realms will be ours. You know? So I guess we're not gonna hear the last of the good doctor, I guess. You know. Then the credits roll some more. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to watch them through because there's got to be something coming up. And then there's another one coming up, and this is the final one. There's just two of them. I guess you can consider the Superman one almost like the first one, you know, because it is kind of like a, oh shoot, you know, kind of a thing. You would think they would have shown it as part of the, you know, but the last one was like you see him with the fishbowl, and it's like this. He's all, hey man, you know what? There's going to be plenty of other fish in the sea, you know. And then he looks at Freddy. He goes, I can't talk to, you know, fish and all that stuff. I mean, what can that do? You know, what does that, you know, even mean? What can that, you know, do for me? And then Freddy's like, well, you can command an army of like fish. And I don't know if that was like a knock to Aquaman. If they put them together, like let's say they do another Justice League. And are those two going to be button heads? You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things where, you know, billions of fish could be at your command. You know, if you can talk to the fish. You know, he didn't have that power. Right? It was just weird. It was funny. That's the thing I like about Zachary Levi. He does bring some very good humor. He does play it very well, and he's able to. He plays the character very well. And Another scene I liked before the film ended, of course, was when you finally realized how they were going to defeat the Doctor, and he had the staff, and all Shazam had, all Billy had to do was when Whitecollar had his hand on it, Savannah, Dr. Savannah, Thaddeus, and then he had his hand on the staff as well, and all Whitecollar had to do was to say Shazam. Somehow they were able to, he pretty much kind of knocked him down, made it to where he was holding the staff, and then you know, as the Doctor was incapacitated for a bit, he had all his brothers and sisters hold on to the staff, and then they said, "Say my name," They all said Billy, my other name that turns me into, and then he's all, oh, they all say Shazam, and then they end up being adult forms of themselves, all in the Shazam type, outfit. And then they were fighting and they were battling the seven sins. Pretty funny sequence, pretty fun sequence. I liked it. And they actually looked just like their counterparts. And I like the one that was an older Darla. She was acting still like her. Like, they were talking about, because later on, then when they were able to get all the seven deadly sins returned, and they returned to being statues. And then that crystal ball, that thing that was the source of power for the Doctor before he got it pulled out. And then they're in there, and then he's like, "Hey man, we got our lair." Everybody's all happy about it, right? And then the adult Darla's looking, goes, "What's a lair?" Like, she's still that little girl. How old is she? Like maybe 8, 9, maybe 8, 7. Like a little girl, so she didn't know what that meant. But well, that's my review. Short but sweet about Shazam. Overall, I thought it was a fun movie. Didn't take itself too seriously, but at the same time, we had some serious butt kicking in the scene. A lot of great visuals. I love the whole dynamic between Mark Strong, who played Thaddeus Savannah, and of course Mark Levy. Not Mark Levy, Zachary Levi. And I loved how their battles, how they were fighting each other. It wasn't over the top, but it was just enough where it kept kept me interested in it, and I loved looking at it. It kind of reminded me of Zod and Superman and Superman 2, because they were doing a lot of fighting in the air and a lot of like that, and it kind of felt like that. It felt old school. It felt like how fight scenes used to be made in superhero films of the old. You know what I mean? So. Well, that's my video, and for those of you who stopped by and watched it, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And in closing, and as always, take care.